now.
Okay, so hello everyone, the TV Hypnotist Andrew here, and today I have a special guest on my YouTube channel. He's the amazing Jonathan Royle. He's got a lot of experience and I brought him over so he could share his experience with us today. How are you doing, John?
I'm good, Andrew. How are you?
Oh, this has been a long time coming, mate. I've been wanting to speak to you for a long time. I'd followed you on Facebook for many years. We have a friend in common, Steve. Actually, we are also friends. You're in my good books, that's for sure, mate. And today I wanted to speak to you about your new book, which is called SHITNOSIS. Woo!
It is indeed slightly, purposely, some may say, shocking title. We'll try and just get that a bit closer to the camera. Oh, disappearing there. But SHITNOSIS, subtitled, helping you get over the shit in your life and get your shit together. And it also incorporates the fuck that system, which is fully unconscious conditioning knowledge therapy, honoring absolute transformation. In other words, it's not rude. Because let's think about it. People do talk about, oh, you know, they're going through a lot of shit at the moment in life, or they need to get over this shit or put that shit behind them. So I've taken the way people speak in everyday life and used it to write this hopefully humorous, because laughter's the best medicine, unless you're diabetic, then insulin seems to work better. Self-help book that has also got loads of these things in it, QR codes that can be scanned, that take you to online videos where I talk you through or demonstrate the process, whether it's a tapping meridian therapy technique to overcome anxiety and panic attacks, for example, or whether it's a breathing technique to make you calmer, or whether it's a full-blown hypnosis session. There's about 30, 40 different QR codes in the book to different videos supplementing it as well. And the whole thing, it's only 17 United States dollars or £14.70 from Amazon and all good book retailers.
Wow, that's an amazing deal. I will link that book down below, and I'll personally get it too. I'll personally get it too. It sounds fantastically amazing, because how I got into hypnosis was actually with a hypnosis audio tape. I've listened to it. I felt so relaxed. I felt so amazing. And the rest is history. So guys, this book, from what John is telling me, is absolutely amazing, because if he's going to teach you the techniques, if you're going to listen to hypnosis audios, and he's a very experienced hypnotist who can guide you to this personal transformation. And yes, using fuck, etc., it's good because you can bypass the critical factor, right? I was censored for it.
Exactly. Yeah, shock, the unexpected does help bypass the critical faculty analytical area of the brain, or as I like to look at it, that kind of nightclub bouncer who's overly strict on the rules and goes, "You're not coming in." Well, we have to be able to distract him or get him to go on a coffee break, or her. And let's not be sexist about this. So we can get into our personal netop computer, so-called unconscious, subconscious mind, or imagination. Call it what you will. It's all constructs. Nobody can prove any of this to be true. No one can disprove it. There's just as many scientific and clinical studies out there saying everything I'm saying is true as there is saying that it's nonsense and that it works a different way. Ultimately, does it matter as long as it helps you to overcome habits, addictions, fears, and phobias? As long as it helps you relax more, be happier in life, or whatever your aim is, it doesn't really matter how it works, as long as you get the result in a safe and effective manner. Yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I absolutely believe in what you do, because I believe that, like you said before, humor is medicine, and I can add something to that too. And I think you're going to agree with me. Even relaxation is medicine.
When of course it is. There's always
relax. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, there's people now. You've got these hypnotherapists. Well, some of them, new breed, going. Hypnosis is not relaxation. That's relaxotherapy. Well, here's the thing. Wake up call for you. Anyone who says that doesn't actually know what hypnosis is, because hypnosis actually is none of those things and all of those things. It's whatever you want it to be. Can hypnosis exist only in the mind of the believer? But to be technical, from a legal standpoint, if it was a court of law type thing, what does hypnosis truly mean? Well, everyone bands it around. It's from the Greek word hypnos, meaning sleep, and that James Brain coined it in 43 in one of his books. But
Right.
that isn't true. That actually isn't true.
Is it? No.
The word hypnosis and many of the other HYP words like hypnotism and similar things were actually coined by a gentleman called Felix de Henning de Cuvillers in 1820, in a book he published in 1820, some 23 years before James Braid is acknowledged to have started using it. Okay,
that's incredible.
Fact number one. Fact number two, and if you type into Amazon, or in fact, if you go on my Celebrity Hypnotist YouTube channel and in the search box type in Felix, Felix, D-D-E, Henning, Henin, D-D-E, Cuvillers, Cuvillers, a video will come up. And in the video description where I review a book about the guy who is the true creator of the word hypnosis,
wow,
there are the links to the 2 books that cover this in depth that are available on Amazon. And when you read them, you will see what was Felix de Henning de Cuvillers' true intention of what he meant by that word. And he meant the hypnagogic and or hypnopompic state, that daydreamy state just when you're woken up and you're not fully awake or just before you've gone to sleep. He meant the relaxed, sleepy-like state. That's what he meant as the creator of the word, and therefore, that's what it bloody well is, because that's what he meant it to be, as the evidence shows.
100%, 100%. And, you know, most of the time, if you're a starting hypnotherapist or a hypnotist, if you manage to relax a person 100%, they'll come back to you because people want to learn how to relax these days. I don't know this nonsense.
It's a massive healing thing anyway. There's 2 books I recommend to all people studying hypnotherapy, and they're kind of what I say when people go, it's just relaxotherapy. Well, you know, relaxation's vital if you're going to do it the way that Felix de Henning de Cuvillers intended when he came up with the word.
Absolutely.
Dr. Herbert Benson has 2 books. He's one called The Relaxation Response and the other one called Beyond the Relaxation Response. Those 2 books deal with how total muscular and psychological, so combined physical, physiological and emotional relaxation at the same time can cause the body to heal itself in much the same way as the body heals when you're in a true deep sleep state at night.
Absolutely.
Coincidence, or is that because sleep is healing? Real sleep's healing, but also relaxation when you've got it combined physically and psychologically and all emotionally at all levels, no tension. Wow, it's truly healing. So even if you wanted to argue that relaxation isn't hypnosis and hypnosis is just fixation of attention to the exclusion of everything else, which will go slightly against what the creator of the word intended. And even if you go down the route of what I teach, that it's just all placebo and harnessing certain states of minds and perception, the fact is all of that's enhanced and made better for the client, a better experience for the client, if they feel truly relaxed and fantastic and like a huge weight's been lifted off their shoulders at the end of the session, as you know and as you use on a daily basis with your clients.
Absolutely. And you know, if someone comes from smoking and you don't actually manage to help them quit smoking, but you have managed to make them relaxed and remove stress in the process, wow, they won't say a bad thing about you. They won't say a bad thing about you because you have given something with your capability back to them that is actually necessarily healing, you know. So relaxation, laughter, they are so healing. And I wish that like the traditional therapists, you know, that they could utilize them more because you know,
that's why, you know, even if you're a therapist seeing this, I still recommend you get this, not from the point of view of it being the self-help book, although you might find there's things in it you want to use on yourself, but because in here, arguably, is all the techniques you could ever need for working with your clients.
Yes.
The only difference is instead of using them internally on yourself and saying, I am doing this or whatever, you would just rephrase that to, and now, just in your mind's eye, imagine, so you're telling the client what to do. Well, there's meridian tapping therapy techniques in here. There's eye movement techniques. There's conventional hypnosis suggestion techniques.
Wow.
There's idiomotor response, direct communication with the unconscious techniques. You name it, it's in here. And not only is it just written about, but as I say, there's about.
And you can go on your phone and do that.
Yeah, you just scan the QR codes in the book.
Wow.
And it takes you to training videos. There's actually like well over 20 hours of training videos included in the book.
That's so absolutely worth it for 17 bucks. Christ, it's really good. And I think you agree with me. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
As therapists and coaches and anything in this field, even performers, I guess, I can't stress enough the importance of working on yourself. What do you think about this, John? You have, you know,
I had to. There was a time in my life when, due to bullying at school and stuff, because the weird background I came from, so when I went to a normal school, I was perceived as the odd one out. Plus, I had ginger hair, which didn't help.
To us, where did you come from? And
I was born on the circus. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so at the age of 3, I was Britain's youngest paid circus clown, Flap the Clown. And you can see embarrassing photos of me on magicalguru.co.uk or magicalguru.com as a little circus clown. That caused me to be bullied.
That's where the charisma comes from then.
Oh, thank you. Maybe a bit. But that caused me to get bullied. It had a negative impact on my mental health. And just before I was 12, I actually tried to end it all. And I do talk about that. There's a video on magicalguru.co.uk where I talk about that. So I don't need to dwell on it, but I did. But it was a wake-up call. It didn't work. And it made me think there's got to be another way of dealing with this. So I went on a quest. And like Sigmund Freud, or Sigmund Freud, as many people probably know him better, once said, most therapists become therapists because they're searching for answers to their own problems.
Absolutely.
And I was. And along the way, I did find those answers, but not until I'd gone through having addiction to alcohol, cocaine, cannabis, gambling to a degree, smoking cigarettes, and a whole bunch of other things. I was kind of on self-destruct. But I did end up managing to deal with them all, overcome them all. And every technique I learned along the way that enabled me to do that is 35 years later inside this book in one form or another, refined, so you can use it on yourself at home or with your clients for whatever your issue or addiction, because the underlying things that cause them anyway, doesn't matter what the habit, addiction, fear, or phobia is, doesn't matter if you've got panic attacks, depression, anxiety, whatever, the root cause of them all is that there's some imbalance somewhere within you. And that imbalance is in your emotions somewhere. So those need to be balanced out. And when they are balanced out, the issues disappear because they don't need, that imbalance doesn't need an outlet anymore. And that's solely what the book's about. It takes it from the point of view of saying, look, as the reader, if you've got an issue right now, that means you're emotionally constipated. There's a blockage somewhere.
Absolutely.
And we're going to give you the positive mind laxative to get rid of those issues and move on.
Oh, I love that. The positive mind laxative. Absolutely. That's what we do with alternative therapies, you know, and this book, I don't want to sound like a used on this book. That's why I'm saying again, this book with that QR code, even if you're a therapist, even if you are someone who's going through a bad time, and I mean, you've heard it from the horse's mouth, you know, the author himself had a lot of issues and he's managed to overcome them. So what can you do with these techniques for just 17 bucks, you know? So I definitely recommend
it. You have to do something, because it's no good getting the book and reading it.
No.
That alone, this is what multi-billions of pounds, well, multi-tens of millions, hundreds of millions of pounds are spent every year on self-help and personal development books.
Yeah,
and yet people keep buying another book and another book because they don't actually put to use what's in the book. They might try it out for a couple of days and then they give up. Well, repetition is the key. Most
Yes.
habits and stuff take 28 days to become fully ingrained. And in the same way, whilst you can get results in a matter of minutes, sometimes even seconds, to have a positive, firm, long-lasting change, as it were, it needs that 28-day cycle to totally root in.
Yes, and I think with hypnosis and with other techniques anyway, with self-help, the better you feel, the more good you feel, the more good you attract, you know? If you feel good today, you're gonna actually repeat it. Say, hey, this audio tape made me feel good. Why not give it another shot, then another shot? Then you start to build momentum, and with that momentum, you know, you can win. You can win. You can absolutely win. So that is like this book. I wanted to speak a bit about it because it's going to help a lot of people. Anyone who's like watching this interview with my friend over here, you have to practice. You have to practice. You have to do what actually is in the book, and I can guarantee you, you're gonna feel better.
There's only one caveat. There's only one warning, as it were, and it's mentioned in the book as well.
Yes.
Well, it's two warnings actually, isn't there? One is it only works if you put it into action and use
Absolutely.
it.
Like
and number two, if you're currently on any medication from a conventional medical practitioner,
yes,
always consult with your general medical practitioner if you are looking at coming off medication. Do it with the consultation and integration of those that prescribed it to you. Don't just stop and go, I'm going to use these self-help techniques, because that could be negative because of the side effects of coming off drugs too quickly. So always notify your conventional medical practitioner if one of them's already involved.
Yes, absolutely. If you're going through that sort of stuff, contact your GP and he will get you through it. But I know that his mouth is where the money is. He's saying the truth today, my guess, because the techniques he's mentioned, I have seen people do significant improvement with them. Me personally, and I've been around and interviewed everyone a lot of people in the world. Those techniques work, and absolutely, because my niche is more on the confidence, personal development level, which you don't need a GP. Yeah, try them out. Heal yourself, because to get more confident, you need a lot of healing, because there might be a teacher, you can confirm this, that told you you're not good enough, bullying, blah, blah, blah. And that's what keeps you from doing
it can be things you don't even realize. As an adult, if you were to be able to pinpoint what it is as a child that caused you trauma, you'd probably laugh at it as an adult and go, why? How can that be affecting me in my life now? But the thing is, you've got to remember, when it got frozen in time as an imprinted negative trauma in your personal desktop computer, metaphorically, you weren't an adult. You weren't looking at it as you would do now. You were looking at it through the eyes of a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old. So that balloon that was your favourite balloon at the birthday party that somebody then accidentally popped was the end of the world to you in that moment.
I know.
A massive trauma, and that could get frozen in and actually have an effect on you now as an adult in life in the way you react to other things. But when you use processes to go in and heal that metaphoric inner child, and it is just a construct in an imaginary scenario, but there's a process of doing that in the book that tells you to get a big pillow or a cushion and hold on to it, go through a self-hypnosis process and imagine talking to the mini you and giving the reassurance that the mini you would have liked when you were younger, so that then all that self-blame, shame, guilt, regret, remorse, and all the negativity that's been anchored down from the past can be released. And it's like a huge weight's lifted off your shoulders, and you can move forward as a true adult, as it were, without carrying that shit around in your head.
Golden nuggets. These are really, really important things. Make sure you have a pen and paper and writing what our
you can always rewind the video and take notes again.
Rewind the video, take notes again, and get the book. And also, to an important note, because I can validate what he's saying, there's some therapists who are popular, you know, on a wide scale. They only used one technique. Like Uri Geller only used the spoon technique. There's therapists who only used one technique. It's like regressing people back to their traumas, disassociating, and they made millions and millions and millions.
Stay there. I'll be back in 1 second. Stay. Hold. You just mentioned Uri Geller, and I love Uri to bits. This year is actually 50 years since he massively hit
him?
the media. I met him a few times. First time I met him, he rubbed his neck. His head fell off. Could have been worse. No, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. You'll get it later. But what Uri did, yeah, I have met him, and I need to make sure I keep these in front of my head's going off camera, I know, but you can see these. What we've got is some spoons. We'll just get rid of a couple. We only need two. This is hand A. Oh, hand A. Hand B.
Okay.
Would you like me to use A or B?
B, please.
So that is B. That's what I said it was before. So we get rid of A.
Okay.
Okay. I want everyone at home to concentrate on the screen and think of the colour orange, like the sun beaming down, because orange is a mixture of the colour red and yellow mixed together. It's mega powerful. And yeah, that's what I'd like you to do. Just think of that and focus the screen. Because what I'm going to do, that is just the light of my laptop lights reflecting. It's not actually melting. It's an optical illusion. That, however, spoon that you chose, if you concentrate that heat and energy, and our mind power is truly unlimited. But oh, hang on, it seems to be starting. If you look, that actually looks as though it's starting to get a little bit. Yeah. Wow. I mean, obviously, it could, some might say just an optical illusion, but if we look, it's starting to. Oh, hang on. There we go. It's starting to melt and bend. It's starting to melt more and more.
Wow.
More, and then, oh, damn, it gets too hot and it just.
Wow. I'm mesmerized.
Uri has, through little things that fixated people's attention like that, and now he caused a lot of controversy about, is this a magic trick? Is it real? Frankly, it doesn't matter. What it did is it made people believe that more was possible than perhaps they currently thought. And with Uri's amazing charisma and charm, or as they call it in the Jewish world, chutzpah, which he talks about, English version might be cheek and front, he's become world famous, and he has been for the past 50 years.
Amazing. I admire the guy, how he managed to do that.
And he gave me a piece of advice when I met him many, many years ago. He said, my real name by birth is Alex Smith. My old stage name was Alex Leroy. And in the early 90s, as a stage hypnotist, I was known as the British bad boy of hypnosis. And indeed, if you go on my website, magicalguru.com, and click on where it says TV show videos, there's videos of me on telly in the early 90s defending it, and also the reason why I did such outrageous shows. And one of those, the show was voice dubbed, the narrative on the show, documentary, footage about me, which has footage of me on stage at the age of 16 doing a comedy stage hypnosis show, getting men to strip off. The voiceover you'll recognise is Uri Geller. He's doing the voiceover on the documentary. And when I met him, he gave me wise words of advice. He said, Alex, be controversial, be different, don't be a sheep, stand out from the crowd. Oh, yes. And that's why, you know, a lot of hypnotists out there hate me. I don't. I think you're amazing. Thank you, but there's a lot of people who miss the point that a media, I know you do, a media persona isn't necessarily who the person really is, you know? No, I've been on the media several times, blah, 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 and, you know, I always shied away from controversy, but sometimes controversy comes to you without even wanting it. Exactly, especially in this day of charlatan, blah, 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 because you get results when they don't, you know? Exactly. Jealousy, and especially when you've done TV stuff. I mean, you'll have got it on social media the moment, like, for example, the Loving Malta thing came out with, you featured with British weight loss, Hypnosis founder and Sky Television's Fat Families presenter Steve Miller, when that went on in Malta, you'll have had people going, well, this is amazing, but I guess you also have some people going, and other nonsense just because.
Yeah, one of them texted me and he said, you want to get rid of our obesity problem with the biggest sham in history, hypnosis. And I said, I mean, it's your opinion, but it changed my life and I love it and I will continue to do it. I will even immigrate from my country if needs be to keep on doing it because I love it so much.
Excellent. Results are what matter. Simple as that.
Yes, your sound gotten a bit less.
Oh, sorry. Maybe it's because of the distance I was from the computer. There we go. That better?
Okay, good. Wow, what an amazing trick that was. Well done.
Thank you. And I would argue that Uri taught me how to do that because I observed him, and what I believe I just did it the same way that Uri does. How that is, well, you'll just have to decide for yourself. But it doesn't matter. It's about getting attention and showing people that the other things are possible. Even if it was a trick, still arguably it was a trick achieved through mind power, because I had to think about how to do it and make it work. So, you know, semantics,
you know, Alex,
results count. That's all that matters.
You know what, Alex, we're on the same page. We're in the business of making people feel good. We're not medical doctors. We're not this. We are in the business of making people feel good. If you say something that makes, for example, me more motivated, you've done your work. If you've done a trick and you impressed me and you left me believing, coming back here to the apartments and make me believe, yeah, I can do that business because everything is possible. The guy can bend spoons. The guy can make people sleep with just clicking the fingers. The guy can make me laugh. Even a simple laugh, a simple chat. It's healing. It's amazing. Don't overcomplicate things, you know? Like, that's why I get what you do, you know? Because, and I've also seen a clip with you going head to head with, what's the geezer? Powers something? Powers,
are you referring to that's on my website, magicalguru.com,
yeah,
on the
is he still
page.
around?
1993, that was January 1993, a head-to-head battle with Peter Powers.
When I was born.
Was it? Wow. Okay. 30 years ago. Peter's living in Australia now. He does come to England, or rather to Scotland, once a year to Glasgow, to the Glasgow Pavilion, and does some shows in the theatre there. But he's had numerous television series in Australia, New Zealand, Europe, successful. And England. Extremely successful. And I was very fortunate at the age of 17, although the TV company said I was 18, but truly I was 17, to appear head-to-head with him.
You break rules. I like that.
I didn't. There's no rule. There's a rule in England saying you've got to be 18 to be hypnotized in a stage hypnosis show. It's the 1952 Hypnotism Act. But nothing in the 1952 Hypnotism Act says you have to be 18 to be a hypnotist. But the TV company, to be safe, they knew my real age, but they lied and said I was 18 just to be totally safe. But I was actually 17, and yeah, I appeared on there with Peter Powers, January 1993, and it just, boom, it kick-started my career. It really did.
That's incredible, because back in the 90s, it was the social media, was it? The TV was the thing that got
TV was the thing, yeah, exactly. There wasn't social media then. And in 93, there wasn't even the internet. Because of that show and millions of people ultimately seeing it, I ended up with work offers galore, and other media stuff snowballed. And, well, yeah, by the time we got to the social media day and age, I'd already been seen by more people around the world than many people on social media will ever dream of. But by the same token, there's some people who've just appeared on social media now who in one day, if a video goes viral on TikTok, it might get seen by hundreds of millions of people. It sometimes happens. But then they're forgotten about in a day or two, because that is the illusionary nature of the world we live in.
I know, and it's a really illusion, because you can just pick and choose and stuff like that. And in reality, those hypnotists and stuff, they're not really in a good level, you know, in reality. Like, they just did a couple of street hypnosis things, and then, you know, boom, you're famous. But it like stops you from progressing.
So some of them really don't have a clue about hypnosis. You're completely right. In fact, some of them are completely lying, and they don't start filming their videos until they've already done an induction, and what you're seeing is a re-induction rather than an induction. Now, that's not saying you can't walk up to a complete stranger from scratch who's never met you before, and in a matter of like 30 seconds have them in deep hypnosis. You can, but not every time.
Not every time. No, I had a lot of failures and I had a lot of successes with the kind of handshake thing, because I really like the Bandler handshake thing. And yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, I mean, you have to be confident and you have to believe in. But me personally, I don't really like to do the street stuff. Do you still perform now or what? Stage
Yeah,
things?
I mean, I still perform for select events that can pay a sizable fee, because I charge more than the vast majority of, because I don't need to anymore. You know, I've got like 30 odd different, no, 30, nearly 40 different books on Amazon and other booksellers. If you search my name,
So
Jonathan
you are an
Royle.
entrepreneur? You're a hypnosis entrepreneur?
Yeah, no, I've created multiple streams of passive income. So I've got hundreds of video training products out there. I earn more money while I'm asleep at night than most hypnotherapists will ever do while they're awake. Unless, of course, they go to ultimatehypnosiscourse.com.
Go.
Ultimatehypnosiscourse.com.
I will link it.
And join my Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. Then they'll learn how to create their own multiple streams of passive income in the same manner I have. Although some of the keys are to not do the same as everyone else is doing. Be different. Be prepared to put your head above the parapet. Be controversial. And get stuff out there. You've actually got to put some effort in. Things don't magically just happen for you.
Absolutely, it's very good advice, that one, that you create multiple passive incomes, etc., etc. What do you think the future of hypnosis is?
Well, it's a good question to conclude on that, so that I don't get totally killed by my family who are nearly ready for their tea. Is I think the future of comedy stage hypnosis shows is that it doesn't have one.
Okay.
I think that within, it could even be sooner, but within 10 to 20 years maximum, there will not be comedy stage hypnosis shows in the manner that there are now. And it could be a lot quicker, because with the rise of social media and people's quest for wanting their 5 minutes of fame, they're naturally doing, without any hypnosis, more and more extremely daft things just to get attention drawn to themselves on social media.
I know, look at the TikTok girls and TikTok boys.
Exactly. So the idea of going to a hypnosis show to be hypnotized, to do silly things, will no longer be of interest to people, because they'll already be willingly doing far more extreme things anyway, which is happening more and more. So I see stage hypnosis as dying out in that sort of time period. And hypnotherapy wise, well, it won't be called hypnotherapy, but the underlying principles of why and how it truly works, namely the placebo and nocebo effect, and things such as the Hawthorne effect, Rosenthal effect, Galatea effect, all things that, incidentally, there's a free 4-hour video that you can watch at the top of the page at ultimatehypnosiscourse.com, teaching you what those are and how to utilize them in therapy to help your clients. Those things will still work in the same way, but the way they're presented to people will need to be presented differently as we move into a totally different frame of mind as a society that's been emotionally conditioned by the powers that be.
What I'm observing is that hypnosis is becoming a more smaller niche. I'm gonna perform in February, gonna do a hypnosis show, and actually it's one of my first ones. So, but that's what I'm seeing. It's a very niche. People are more looking forward to the rappers and the stuff, you know, than the hypnotist. But now we see how it goes, confident and doing well.
I mean, it goes in cycles, ups and downs. Everything does in show business. And there will be another up again for stage hypnosis. But whilst there'll be another up and then probably another down and then another up, and then I think it will then kind of fizzle out within that sort of 10 to 20 years maximum. But people watching this video in 20 years' time.
But listen, in 20 years, lawyers will be out of a job. 20 years, lawyers, accountants, because of the AI, you know?
Exactly. And that's the world we're moving into. Things will be very different. And therefore, people will seek out different ways of being entertained. What the future holds, who knows? But the only way you can have some control on it is to actually in the meantime, do what you can to become the best possible you.
Yes, and you could do that by following the advice that he has given you today, and we have given you today and in this video, and buying Shitnosis.
Indeed.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to link it on this video.
Thank you, Andrew.
Alex, thank you for coming. It was an absolute pleasure to actually get to meet you and speak to you, because we have a lot in common.
Well, hopefully we'll get to meet in person one day when I get to, at some point, get over to Malta with my wife and daughter.
Yes, please come. We'll go for dinner. We'll go for lunch.
Yeah.
And we had an extreme fun with Steve. You can ask him.
Yeah, I know he thoroughly enjoyed
it. So everything's good. Okay, mate. We
Take
conclude
care.
our show over here. Thank you for watching, everyone. And until the next one.